Take one, take two. My name's Steven, and this is Take One. Today we're going to be talking about, is film school worth it? So I went to film school. A bunch of people at Seven Wonders Cinema went to film school, and a lot of times in the film community we often talk about, was our experience worth it? And people coming out of high school, what type of advice would we give them on, should you make the commitment to go to film school? The first thing that I often hear people talk about is, could I get a better experience learning this art form, learning this craft by just entering the industry, by either interning somewhere, hopping on set? For some people that might be the best option, but there are definitely advantages to going into an environment where you're in a more structured and guided situation. The second thing that I hear a lot of people talk about, and this is a big one, is cost. A lot of film schools are very, very expensive, especially the private institutions. And then the third thing that I hear people debate are the programs themselves up to date enough. I know that when you're trying to build a curriculum for students that are coming from all disparate backgrounds, different skill levels, all these things, it's hard to maintain a curriculum that applies to all of them, but at the same time is current enough with the industry's trends. The rate of technology innovation is so much faster than the school or university's ability to purchase that technology. So oftentimes it's difficult for the schools to have the latest and greatest stuff, which is why some people think, you know what, maybe I won't go to film school, maybe I'll rent the gear that I need to rent. So I knew that I wanted to be in film and do film related things since I was really little. I watched Star Wars for the first time when I was 8, and I was like, I want to do that, whatever that was. So once I got to college, you meet so many people that are in the same boat, which is a really awesome aspect of film school. The alternative, if you are diving into a set, you might be a PA, you might be an intern in a professional setting if you're not going to film school. And those environments sometimes are less forgiving. You can make mistakes on a small scale, but if you're in a professional environment and you're making a lot of mistakes, people are gonna reprimand you. What I found to be the case at film school is that there is a lot of noise. There are a lot of classes that I understand why the program is putting them in place, but that most people are not getting a ton of value out of. That said, there were certain professors at the program that if you get to know these professors, you can have them as a support system, as a mentor beyond your experience at film school. And those professors were almost worth the price of admission in and of themselves. Some of the professors that we had at film school are still our mentors and business advisors to this day. The most experience you're gonna get is not in the classroom. It's in having the resources of the environment to go and do your own projects. Maybe 5 or 6 classes really changed my perception of things, and the rest, they were really good, but they weren't in and of themselves worth the price of admission. When you're in film school, you have a lot more control over where you can focus your time in terms of researching the different types of avenues you could go down. And I found that to be tremendously beneficial. Do I want to be an editor? Do I want to be a DP? Do I want to be away from my family for this amount of time per year? You have the time to weigh those different options. Film school, you get to work on a variety of projects, and a lot of them were terrible, and a lot of them were really cool. And we got to focus on different aspects of the filmmaking process, and that was something that was really valuable. And I think that if you dive directly into the real industry right away, you might miss that ability. The networking opportunities that I enjoyed when I was at film school were career changing. I met my business partner, Michael. Just a lot of the people that we knew have either become employees, collaborators, clients even. What you put in is what you're gonna get out of it. It's very easy to coast if you don't put in additional work outside of college, but if you do put in that work, you have a lot of resources to come around you and support what you're doing. In terms of not going to film school, you will become technically proficient much quicker, in my opinion, if you do it that way. Film school tries to set up an environment where you learn things, but I found they don't do a great job of preparing everyone in technical aspects because they're more focused on the storytelling aspect of things. If you go on set, it's kind of like trial by fire. You're gonna learn things very quickly because you're gonna learn that if you do something wrong, that's not gonna feel so great. But there are huge advantages to it. The networking opportunities on sets outside of film school are also great. It's just you're gonna establish yourself in more of a hierarchy mentality. You're gonna start at the very bottom of the totem pole, and then you're gonna have to work your way up and kind of decide where you wanna fit in pretty quickly without having the resources of testing everything. Some people say invest the money that you would invest in film school in a project, in a film, and that works for some people. But for me, I didn't feel like I was mature enough or had enough life experiences to have an idea that was worth someone else watching at that point. And so film school was really a point in time for me where I could develop my skills as a filmmaker, but also, have life experiences. So it comes down to your personal preference on what your goals are and where you want to be. What I probably would have done differently is spent more time in classes outside of the film program. The classes that I took that were not part of the film school itself were some of the best classes I took. And if you're so focused on the conservatory aspect, then you won't have the opportunity to develop outside of that. But I think the most important thing to remember is to always be proactive. Rarely are you gonna graduate film school, get the degree, and go and get a job. You need to be doing projects. You need to develop a portfolio. You need to be working and collaborating to develop those professional relationships down the road as well. One thing I wish the film school that I went to did a little bit better, or at least I wish I'd taken classes more in this arena, are merging the art and business side of the industry. Film is also a business, and in a lot of ways, it's a business first. And you need to understand the fact that it is a business and how the business functions and how you can fit into that in order to get a job. It really depends on your situation. For me, it was absolutely worth it. But if you're the type of person that wants to dive into something and really learn it as quickly as you can, that works for a lot of people. Some of the greatest directors of all time never went to any educational institution. And also in this day and age, when it's easy to pick up a camera and start making things, there's a huge advantage to not. So I fully respect the people that have opted not to go to film school. The thing that I just would say not to do in any situation is not start. You need to start. You need to pick up a camera. You need to see where you're at, see what your skill levels are, see where you want to go in this industry, and then make your decision based on those things and really fully analyze your situation and figure out, where can I go with this, and is this a realistic possibility? I hope that you found this video helpful in making your decision about film school and whether or not to go. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more news, reviews, and how-tos of the filmmaking world and how to be a filmmaker in this modern age, and I hope to see you on the next video.